Town Talker with Reverend Zechariah A. Jackson. Reverend Jackson is founding pastor of the Church of What's Happening Now, located in Plainfield, New Jersey. And now, the Town Talker, Reverend Zechariah Jackson.
Oh, it's good coming to you. You know, it's good coming to you. This is the American Reverend Zechariah A. Jackson from the Church of What's Happening Now, Town Talker Talk Show. Well, I tell you, boys, the heat has been something else. I've been on vacation for 2 weeks and everything. I tried to do all I could, but I mainly stayed in because it was so hot. You know what I mean? It's enough to be hot, but when you got that humidity that's beating down on you, boy, that's just something to drive you crazy. We got a whole lot to talk about. I'm supposed to have a guest. I don't know whether the guest is coming in because it's already 4:32 and we have not seen the guest. You know, finally, I believe that BP, British Petroleum, capped closed. No more oil going into the Gulf. So we pray that that right there is true. A tightly fitted cap was successfully keeping oil from gushing into the Gulf of Mexico for the first time in 3 months. BP said Thursday, the victory, long awaited by weary residents along the coast, is the most significant milestone yet in British Petroleum effort to control one of the worst environmental disasters in U.S. history. Kept well, a BP PLC vice president said at a news briefing that oil stopped flowing into the water at 2:25 p.m. after engineers gradually dialed down the amount of crude escaping from the last 3 valves in the 75-ton cap. So it's just something. I'd like to one day visit the place that actually build these kind of things. We were so focused on BP, but we have not spent any time to surf and find out who builds these mechanisms to stop the oil or the great funnel, that concrete funnel that was made. BP don't make it, so someone made it. But I'm gonna try to go to a link. I believe it's right here, NBC link, and it's probably gonna have they're gonna talk about it now. Let's see what we can get going now on BP. I don't seem to be able to pull it up. I don't know what's going on with the computer now. But anyway, it's a live coverage of the valve of the cap being placed into the position over the valve, trying to stop the leak, and actually it did stop the leak. So it's a good thing that people are still working to do these things, because for a minute there we wondered, will it ever stop? You know what I mean? I think after 85 days you wondered, how much oil was lost and everything, and if they could just give us that oil, I imagine that we could drive our cars for about at least 5 or 6 years, and everything. But unfortunately, that's just not how business works. They don't seem to give anything away. So, and let me see, we'll pull up somebody else and try to see if there any, trying to get something.
Let us begin this Thursday morning, though, with the breaking news.
Okay.
BP finally ready to test that new ceiling cap. NBC's Chief Environmental Affairs correspondent Ann Thompson has the latest on this story. Ann, good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt. The BP says it replaced the leaking mechanism overnight, and it is now ready to start that well integrity test. It hopes to have that test underway later today. And it's a test that should give BP a good idea of just what kind of condition the well pipe is in beneath the sea floor. As an anxious nation waited for the complicated test to begin, crews found a leak in one of the lines. Robotic vehicles worked overnight to repair it. BP wants to close each of the 5 outlets on the cap and blowout preventer to stop the rush of oil. At each step, scientists will get a clue about the condition of the well, making sure there are no leaks based on key readings of pressure levels.
If the pressure readings stay low, that will tell us that the oil is probably going someplace else, and we need to consider the fact we may have a breach.
The test got the green light after a 24-hour delay requested by the government. Its scientists wanted to make sure the test would not make the situation worse.
In other words, this is a first do no harm to the well.
The risk is substantial.
You would have a situation where you have an enormous amount of pressure coming to a halt immediately, very much like a train running into a brick wall, and that would send a shock wave down the well bore, which could cause problems anywhere from the surface of the well bore to deep in the well.
But if it works, if they can shut in the well, the rewards are enormous, finally stopping the flow of crude that is washed ashore in 5 states. The cap was designed to contain oil and send it to ships on the surface while relief wells are drilled. Actually shutting down the well, BP says, was long an unspoken possibility.
We actually have always had in mind that if we put the capping stack in place, that we might have the opportunity to shut in the well. But we had to continue to do a lot of the analysis that we did to give ourselves confidence.
Now, once the tests begin, BP says it will take about 48 hours to complete. And along the way, they will look at that pressure very, very carefully. And if at any time they think that the test is somehow endangering the well, they say they will stop the test and stop sealing off those valves and once again start collecting the oil. Matt?
Real quickly, and do we know when they're going to start this?
They hope later this morning, Matt, but they wouldn't commit to a time.
All right. Ann Thompson, who has been covering this story for a long time down in the Gulf in Venice, Louisiana. Ann, thank you very much.
Okay, that was Matt and Lyle from today's show. They were talking about what was going on with the well. You know, it's just something how that we can develop things, but we also have to come up with safety precautions. So hopefully that this has been the journey for this country and for BP and to other oil companies and things that that they'll take a little bit more time to investigate and come up with safety mechanisms to put things in order. And I'm sure that there was a great learning in this 85 days because this has been a long time, and you know, so much money has been lost from the Gulf of Mexico because of vacation. 4th of July was basically ruined, came to a halt. Few people showed up and everything, and so there was so much money lost and everything. And I just hope that the people are compensated for it. And again, also we hope too that that the area, you know, can get back into a cleaner area again, because that was so beautiful down there years ago. And when you see the oil coming on, spilling through the ocean and everything, and you see the birds that was damaged, seals that had to rewash them, the pelican birds, you know, that was actually soaked in oil, and there's nothing that they can do in a case like that. So a lot of people volunteered and captured the creatures and actually gave them a bath, you know what I mean? So we all go without, you know, to say that, you know, we all have to have a helping hand in things today, you know, because you never know when, you know, you may need the help and everything. I also like to go to, okay, Lebron James, of course. That's the big thing today people are talking about. I mean, I didn't like the idea that he left Cleveland, Ohio. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a basketball fan and I'm like that. I didn't like the idea that he left, but you know, I wouldn't have left. I think that a lot of people are stating that he left because he wanted a championship ring. But again, sometimes you have to look at, you know, that you have, from whence you come, you know, you have made enough money today that you don't ever have to punch a clock or work anywhere. Your kids have a chance now with the economics that you have accumulated to evolve into any kind of person that they want, a doctor, lawyer, judge, or an environmentalist, you know. And you have to look at that sometime. You have to really take a look at that. But then some, you know, when you get to this sport thing, because some people go so crazy over it that, you know, he won a ring. That's what they say, that he really want this championship ring. So he opted out of Cleveland to go down to Florida to get this ring. And from what I understand from basketball enthusiasts, those that love the game, they said that basically bankrupt the team. Tickets that was going for $10,000, I think you can get them for $800 now.